Welcome. It's day 6, y'all. We are on day 6 on my 21-day entrepreneur wellness series, um, where we are normalizing the not so glamorous side of being successful. Um, I want to share with you, if you guys don't know, my name is Clarindria Addison. I am an author, podcast host, and licensed therapist. I am doing this 21-day series because it was a commitment to myself. And if you go back to the beginning, you will get to see kind of how it all started. When you see me looking off to the side, that's because I have my notes because I plan each time for 21 days for 21 minutes. So I try to stay on track so you know what's happening, what you're going to get. I am each day wanting to unpack what's really going on beneath the hustle and giving you a mindset shift. And also, yesterday, I think I started adding affirmations. So let's get to day 6. Where are we? Okay. Y'all got y'all pen and paper? Yes, I love it. I love it. Today, our topic is decision fatigue when every choice feels like too much. Running a business means making hundreds of decisions each and every day. And sometimes a small um, thing to do is to pivot. When you're constantly on, y'all know it's like my pilot. When you're constantly on, the brain eventually says enough, like you need to stop. That's decision fatigue. It clouds your clarity and delays your progress. So, some causes of decision fatigue, and I do have on clothes, y'all. Let me just show y'all. I have on a halter shirt, but the way this camera is set up, it's not gonna let me be great and let y'all see that. So you getting a little shoulder action today. Causes, focus, causes of decision fatigue, constant problem solving, lack of structure, and having too many emotions. I am going to couple this conversation, also touching a little bit on boundaries after I share this first part. So stay along if you, I shouldn't say if, you need to stay along so you can catch both of these gems that I'm about to drop. Oh, yeah, I need y'all to subscribe, like, and share. And I'm making this very easy. Today, your mantra, part of it is going to be I choose peace. So I need y'all to put that in the comments down below, um, either on YouTube or Instagram, wherever you're going to be watching this at. So that, let me see. Hey, y'all. Hold on. Um, um, Look, I'm multitasking now. Y'all listen. Okay, focus. Causes of decision fatigue, constant problem solving, lack of structure, and too many options. So I'm going to give you ways to simplify that. But if you don't have structure in your day to day, and this is probably repetitive because anything that has to do with shifting your mindset has to do with discipline. And I'm going to get into that at a later time. But to this point, decision fatigue, some of the causes is you're always trying to figure everything out all the time and you never give yourself a moment to kind of breathe. So lack of structure, not having a routine, not, having a cutoff time. Like, I can give you an example. For me, one of the things that I do during the week, because, and this goes along with setting boundaries, but I'm kind of skipping around, but y'all gonna get the point. So for example, one of the things that I do is I will set a schedule for my hours, right? So even though I'm an entrepreneur and I can kind of do, what I want most days, I'd still have the structure of kind of having office hours or business hours from 8 to 5. So for example, if a family member or a case manager, somebody from one of the agencies that I contract with reaches out to me after that time or before that time, I don't respond. And I really had to get into practice of not doing that, because let me tell you, the people will reach out to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So one of the things that I've done, and I think I talked about this the other day, was utilizing some of the tools we have, like with our phones, being able to send messages and emails later, and also putting on the do not disturb, and then just kind of training yourself, if you will, to remember, hey, 5 o'clock, I'm off. I done gave y'all 8 or 10 hours or however many hours you have provided to the business. And then you have to set that boundary. So if somebody responds, now obviously, if it's a crisis or an emergency, for me, the type of business that I am in, I'm potentially may or may not have to respond. But then as you're getting into the practice of doing this, you will start to realize what's most important and what's not. And then you can start setting those boundaries. I'm kind of skipping around, but y'all getting the point. So let me share 3 ways for you to simplify decision fatigue. So the first one is to automate or outsource repetitive tasks. Number 2, stick to a daily decision-making framework. And number 3, have a set no decision zone, like choosing the same meal for lunch or choosing the time that you're going to go for lunch. And I'm going to put this up on the board so you guys can screenshot or put it in your notepads. Decision fatigue. So automate or outsource repetitive tasks. Why am I getting tongue tied? Hold on, y'all, 1 second. Let me take a sip. So automate or outsource repetitive tasks. So one of the things that I have outsourced, and I try to provide like real life examples of things that I do in my personal business. And one of the things that I have done is outsourced my email fax. More so the fax than the email, but that is a part of it. But I get a lot of faxes from case managers and business stuff. And so one of the things that I have my assistant do is go through the faxes, and then he can determine, is this something that just needs to be filed? Does he need to send it to me so that I can review it? Is it something that I have to sign? That's a repetitive task that can be outsourced. Stick to a daily decision-making framework. So again, when we talk about having that structure of setting up your day, right? So for example, if okay, in the mornings, I'm going to go in, I'm going to check emails, I'm going to set a timer for, 30 minutes or whatever you feel would be productive for you. This is just an example. Set the timer for 30 minutes and then you check emails and, respond to those emails or put them on your to-do list so that you can go back and take care of those. If something comes up that has to be decided upon right away, that's where prioritizing comes into play. And then you have to decide, like, am I prioritizing based on what's most important? Or I should say, we are prioritizing based on what's most important. Because you can have a list of things to do that, for example, for Monday, tomorrow's Monday, you have this list of what you need to do. You know what's important. You know what needs a response right away. You know what could also wait till later on in the day. So that's having a decision-making framework. The next thing is to have a set no decision zone, like choosing the same meal for lunch today. And I would even also say setting the time for when you're going to have lunch. As entrepreneurs, I know because I'm guilty of it. Listen, the truth shall set you free. I will get at this desk, honey, and look up, and it'll be 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and I literally have not moved outside of I have a thing set on my watch to get up, and like I might walk around the office or walk through the house, and then I'm back sitting down because I'm so into like trying to get whatever it is that I want to get done for that day. So when we say set a no decision zone, like set that time and put it into your schedule. I'm gonna have lunch at 1 o'clock, and then provide yourself like drive time, like if you know it's going to take you 20 minutes to go get lunch, or if you have prepared your lunch, which we should be doing, y'all, because we're trying to save money, and we're going to talk about money and budgeting on another day. But anyway, set that time up for yourself, and so that you can walk away from the desk. And when I tell you, on those days when I do, and again, we're all guilty of it, we will be focused on a project or something that needs to be done, or some paperwork that we have to, review or sign off on. So we're kind of in the moment. Allow yourself some grace for that, and then continue to keep moving. Clear thinking leads to smarter, faster decisions. So, and this is why this matters, why you need to simplify your decision making fatigue so that you can think smarter, move faster, make better decisions. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hold on. Yes, D&D is powerful. And y'all forgive me if I'm slow to respond, because I have two things going. I have YouTube going for those of you that are just joining and being a part of the series. Thank you. Thank you for joining. But I am working off of StreamYard, where I am streaming on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. So, but the way it's set up, I have to go back into Instagram to look at it. So I kind of have two screens going. So if you send a message, just hold tight. I will work to be responding to all messages as we are going through this. So the next thing that I wanted to couple this decision fatigue with is boundaries. It's the love language we all need. I'm going to just sit that there for a second. You like love language? Yes, y'all. We got to learn how to tell the people no, honey, because the people will continue to ask and plead and want, right? And having boundaries. Going back to the do not disturb. Somebody put in the comments. Listen, that do not disturb is a lifesaver. I'm going to tell you, for me, because of my business and it's 24/7. One of the things that I'm working on this year is figuring out how to remove myself from some of that 24/7. So for me, unfortunately, I can't at certain times be on do not disturb. However, what I have done and put into play is the program manager that works for me. I will send her a message and say, hey, I'm not going to be available from this time to this time, unless somebody is about to die. I know that sounds harsh, but you got to just make the point. So I will say, unless it is like a crisis that you feel like you cannot handle, I'm not going to be available. And I will put my phone on do not disturb. I also, and those who work with me and know, my phone is on do not disturb in the morning when I'm meditating. And I kind of have, because I've done it so long, people are kind of trained to know she's probably not going to answer her phone if it's any time between like 6 and 8 a.m. because those are my hours that I have set aside for me, which is why I use those hours. So then after that, I can continue to go on and do, what's needed to do. So when we talk about boundaries being a love language and coupling it with decision fatigue, if you don't get in the practice of saying no, you always going to be tired. You always going to be like, trying to figure out, why am I so tired? Why am I so fatigued? Because you a people pleaser and you saying yeah all the time. That's why. Listen, boundaries aren't walls, they're doors with locks. You decide who enters. I'm going to say that again. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors with locks, and you get to decide who enters. So, again, as you're in the practice of learning to set boundaries, sometimes you got to lock the door, sometimes you can unlock it. And as you get into practice, people will start to receive, okay, that door is locked, so I'm not going to be able to push that button, or I'm not going to be able to get in at this time. Get it? Saying no is a form of self care. No, and if you watch any of my videos, I probably have said this 50, 11 times. No is a complete sentence, period, exclamation mark. It doesn't need any additional feedback or language. It's just no. Now, in some cases, if you feel like you need or want to explain, that is your choice. That is locking or unlocking the door, but you get to decide. But otherwise, no is just no. And people who respect your boundaries respect you. And when I think about that, I think about how oftentimes I have been told no, and it's not even a thing. Like, people don't even think twice about it. So for me, getting in the practice of setting that boundary and being able to do that has been huge for my progress and my success. Because I think as entrepreneurs, when you're, especially for example, when you're just starting your business and you want people to be happy and you want your staff to be happy and you want the clients to be happy and you want everybody to be happy, and at the cost of you and at the cost of your kind of peace and sanity, if you will. So definitely be willing to be like, you know what, it's a level of respect. People who respect your boundaries respect you. I love that. I need y'all to do me a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, and share. All of this information is on my YouTube, Shift Chats. Or you could put in Shift Healing from Scratch. You could put in my name. I think it comes up under all those things. But if you put in Shift Chats, subscribe. This is day 6. I am doing 21 days. And depending on how much, feedback and stuff I get from y'all, I might do another one. But this commitment was really to myself for being able to go live and be present with the people. So that has been my goal for this. Thank you for choosing peace. Yes. Let me put that up. Did everybody get this down? Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors with locks. You decide who enters. Saying no is a form of self-care, and people who respect your boundaries respect you. So now I want to put this up. I need y'all to type, I choose peace, if you're committed to having better boundaries. Who's committed to having better boundaries? I see a couple people in the comments. Let me see. Let me get the affirmation up here. Hold on, y'all. As y'all know, I'm multitasking here. Okay, let me get our affirmation for the day is, hold on. I think I've gotten really good at doing this now. The affirmation is, I trust my systems, I trust my instincts, and I give myself permission to choose ease. I trust my systems. Do you trust your systems? If you don't trust your systems, that's probably a conversation we need to have on the sidebar, because the point of setting up systems is that you trust that they're going to work. Right. And it's trial and error, especially when you're new and you're just starting to, get systems set up and figure out like what works and what doesn't work. You have to be confident in those systems that you set up. I have been saying to my staff lately, and they probably tired of me saying it. And disclaimer, because I don't want to get sued or nothing, but you know, the arches say 2 beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. And I use that as a way to explain to the staff, if we all do the same thing consistently with the clients, we all will likely get the same result, which is what we want. A peaceful day. We want our systems in place so that the clients know where they're going, what's going on, what time they got to get up, what time they're eating lunch, all these things, right? And once those systems are into play, the day, now again, it's going to be some good days and some bad days, but for the most part, if you're following systems and you're having the people within your business follow systems, how you think some of these places are so great in, franchise businesses and, grow and scale their companies because of those systems that they have in place. And you have to start that early. Let me just say as well, if you're new to entrepreneurship and you're trying to figure out like, should I be doing this or should I be doing that? And again, this is something that I feel like I repeat often, is you don't want to be signing up to be all things in your business, because you're going to wear yourself out. And then you're going to have to coming to me for decision fatigue. Exactly. Trust your instincts. One way that I know if my instincts are working or not is I get a little like feeling inside, like my heart starts to race. If it's something that's off, or it's like, oh yeah, I don't know if this is going to be right. That is my instinct. So you do have to get in the practice of kind of being still. I encourage meditation. I encourage journal writing. I encourage just being still, because when you do that, that's when all of the, stuff starts to fill in and you start to be like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Or something will happen. You'll be like, dang, I thought about that. Or I wrote that in my journal. And I actually have a couple of recent examples, and this is going to sound real silly, but I had some ants by my nightstand. And I was saying, Lord, where is these ants coming from? Literally, when I tell y'all, I cannot make this up. I wrote it down in my journal that I'm writing in every day. And I was like, Lord, I just want to know where the ants come. And that sounds really simple. Like, you praying to the Lord about the ants? Yes, because I pray to the Lord about everything. Okay, first of all, let's just be clear. And I was like, kind of writing down what I was thinking in my head. Like, where are these ants coming from? Because I can't figure it out, because I don't eat in my bedroom. I mean, if I can count the times I've eaten in my bedroom, I don't even need one hand, because I don't do that, because it's just I'm not OCD, y'all, but I do have some of the traits. And so I was just like, where are these ants coming from, Lord? And when I tell you, got up, was getting dressed for the day, moving around, and I saw where the ants was coming from, y'all. I cannot make this up. In real life. So I got my little bug spray and cleaned off the area and whatever. And probably was what happened was I was using this. I have like this little portable desk, right? So in the mornings when I'm journaling, I will take the desk and, kind of sit it on my lap. It has like a little cushion thing under the bottom or whatever. So I'm not coming to this space, because if I come into this space, I'm gonna end up doing some work. So that's just a thing that I do to trick myself. Anyway, on the desk, which probably I carry it around like I might have it outside with me. So probably along the lines, I dripped a little juice or something, and it was just a little piece. And this is where the ants was coming from, y'all. So anyway, I digress, because I just went on a little rampage. But anyway, I trust my systems, I trust my instincts, and I give permission to choose ease. Choose ease, y'all. Day 6, remember, the shift is happening now. Thanks for joining.